can you quantitatively value the damages that you sustained as a result of the plaintiff's behavior? Let's start with the rug. She damaged the rug by deliberately pouring soda on it. Is that what you said?
Yeah. The rug itself is probably like $100, honestly.
Did you clean it or did you have somebody else clean it for you?
I cleaned it, and I also cleaned the apartment windows of all the chili.
How did that get removed?
I had to take the screens off of my windows, and I had to rub it down with just
And the feces
Windex.
on the porch, how did that get removed?
Scrubbing it out. My girlfriend helped me with that one.
I have nothing further.
All right, then. We're going to excuse you all while we deliberate in this matter. Thank you.
This courtroom is now in recess.
I think we're getting in this case just a snapshot of a really bad situation. She fronted the money. She engaged in ways that I think certainly forfeit her right to the security deposit. On top of pouring the soda, which was intentional, she's smoking. I mean, you can't get that smell out. On the one hand, one might say that since he changed the locks on the 16th, that she should get the balance of what she paid back. On the other hand, both the testimony and the evidence indicate that she was threatening essentially to squat there if she wasn't approved, which would have put him in a bad situation. So for me, the key issue was how precipitous was he in changing the locks? The most I'd be inclined to give her back might be $550 for the 2 weeks that she wasn't there, because we know that she wasn't there the last 2 weeks of the month. And I'm just throwing this out there. Some, not all, because I don't think that being worried about your kid makes you a big bully necessarily, but I will say some of that behavior may be tempered by the fact that she really did make it possible for them to move in the first place. She put up all the money. So right now I'm inclined toward $550, but I'd like to hear what you think.
Absolute number I'm on. I'm on $550 for the following reasons. I think what she was trying to do, I think she was engaging in this behavior in an attempt to have him be constructively evicted so that she and Mr. Dunnigan could actually live in that apartment. She and her family or friends or whatever that group of people were that were swarming around in there, bullying the defendant, they were in there, in my view, in an attempt to get him to say, hey, you know what? I've had enough. I think she forfeits her security deposit as well for all the behavior that she's engaged in, even though technically it wouldn't all be her money. I mean, she would only be responsible for like $292 of the security deposit. So, I mean, I'm open to that amount, but I'd rather just give her the $550 for the 2 weeks that she wasn't there and call it a day. I think her behavior was egregious and insulting, and I really do think he had a strong effort to try to get better, and she didn't help.
I think much of what both of you said is graphically illustrated by the videos that we saw in terms of her behavior. Although some of what the defendant is saying is circumstantial evidence and there's some ambiguities about it, given what I saw, I think the plaintiff loses the argument there about who was more at fault. And therefore, I agree with both of you.
So $550.
$550, we're unanimous?
Yes.
Great. Ms. Smith, we are all unanimous in concluding that the behavior we witnessed, both by you and the messages sent by Mr. Dunnigan, I mean, they were just abominable. They're outrageous. You know, Judge Domingo made a great point on our deliberation. It's almost like you were trying to constructively evict him, to try to get him to move out, which is consistent with some of those text messages. You know, normally, Mr. Chamberlain, we might have concluded that you'd been precipitous in changing the locks, but given the plaintiff's threat to essentially squat and compromise you both, we don't think that you were wrong to do that. And frankly, under the circumstances of this tenancy, brief as it was, Ms. Smith, we were almost inclined, at least I would have been inclined to almost give you nothing. However, there are some mitigating circumstances. Being a bully and being abusive to someone who you think is an addict is not the best way to protect your child. I think you know that. However, you made it possible for both of you to move in. That's just the bottom line. Had you not fronted the cash, neither of you would have been able to get into the apartment, which to some extent mitigates some of your frustration. However, you express that frustration in a horrible way. We conclude unanimously that you're not entitled to any of the security deposit back. We saw smoking in the apartment. We saw intentional damage to the carpet. And even though the defendant estimates that was only maybe a $100 carpet, there's a punitive aspect to this. You can't act like that when you're mad. You can't bully someone, especially when you believe that they're vulnerable, that they're an addict, and you thought that that behavior was the response. Absolutely unconscionable.